pay your bills on time, pay them off in full if at all possible. Do whatever you got to do to pay them off in full every month so that you don't have to live in that place of debt. And anyway, that's my speech for today. Good morning. Good morning. So today is Wednesday. I usually work remote today, but I took off today completely. It's the day before my trip. So, you know, of course I have some last minute running around to do. I have a few returns. I have several returns actually. If I showed you the bag sitting over here in the front seat, you know, it's like, I just want to return, you know, things that I'm definitely, why is my heat not kicking in? Yeah, so I have some returns to do, and just like little, nothing major, although I just realized last night I tried on a pair of pants that I purchased, you know, one of my outfit fits, I mean, basic black pants, and I mean, when I tried them on in the store, I thought they fit fine. Tried them on just now, and for some reason, they're like skinny pants, you know, which was fine. Actually, skinny pants look better on me than like a full leg. It slenderizes me. But these skinny pants, not only were they, you know, skinny, which that part was fine. It was the length. I mean, I am 5'6", which is, you know, I don't know if that's considered average or a little taller than average, but anyway, I don't know if they were petite or what, but they were too short. Returning them, so I gotta replace them with another pair of black pants. Anyway, I'm gonna run into Wawa for a quick second and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just so I just went into Ulta, and you know, I was just inquiring about some lashes for my trip, you know, like get a little deepified. And so ended up buying some lashes, and I have an appointment tomorrow for them to put them on. So we gonna see. They're very low-key. They're not crazy looking. I'm not gonna be looking all crazy. They're just gonna look like my regular mascara and a little extra extension from that. That's all. But you know, me and the ladies, you know, I love when you get a salesperson and you can just, you know, like crack up with them. But yeah, so like I said, just went to Ulta. Now I'm going across the street to Marshall's to return these 2 items. Then, and I'll be over there. There's something I need to return a couple things I need to return to Kohl's. So yeah, I can do all of that over there. And then I return something at Target, as well as Walmart. I think I'll leave Walmart to be the last stop, because what do I have to do at Walmart? I think I have 2 returns. I gotta look at my notes. Oh, but I gotta get something else too from Walmart. I'm gonna see if they have like kind of like a rain, I don't know, because I don't have, like, you know, all the videos I've been watching, they talk about these downpours, And my coat is not, my jacket is not like waterproof. And so, let's see if they have like those plastic, you know, plastic like clear ponchos that you can put on, like if it's raining or something. Just see if they have that. If so, I'll get that. But yeah, that was just funny with the ladies in Ulta with the lashes. I was like, I want the most natural, like I basically want it to look like my regular, you know, eyes. I mean, I wear mascara, but it's only but so much you can do with mascara. You know, I mean, you can really work it and get a little fuller look and look, you know, but you're gonna need some lashes to really make it look like something. Oh, Sephora is right over. I didn't even realize Sephora is right here. But I already got them. I already got my appointment tomorrow for the lashes. Oh, this is not Marshall's. This is TJ Maxx. I can't return them there. Okay. We're going to have to scratch that for the moment. And I'm going to have to go over here to Kohl's. And then I'll go to the Marshalls. Yeah, to the actual Marshalls when I leave here. But that was not Marshalls. I get that so mixed up. Marshall, TJ Maxx. I wish they would all take returns of the others, because it would just make life so much easier. Okay, so I'm going into Kohl's. I have my returns. And I'll be back. Okay. Have to get some gas. So I have just a random thought with all that, you know, I was just talking about with the returns and stuff. So I just, I just got gas, and I knew one of my credit cards, I had a credit because of all these returns. I paid my bill and I had a credit. So I was just going into the app to, you know, remember which credit card it was. But anyway, it made me think of that it was this credit card that I just used, and I'm glad I used it because, you know, I had a credit already, so let me just go ahead and use that. But anyway, so years ago, like about 6 years ago, you know, my life was completely in a different place. I wasn't planning a trip to Paris or anywhere. I was broke, you know, and just trying to climb out of a lot of debt and, you know, poor decisions and whatnot. But anyway, so I had this credit card, which I almost lost, like meaning they almost canceled the card and or charged off the card because you know, of late payments and just, you know, bad behavior on my part. I mean, I was struggling financially. I was going through a lot, but not to make excuses. But anyway, so I did turn it around before they charged it off my card, and I was able to keep the card and restore it. So now this is part of, if you've watched any of my other videos about, yeah, my video most recently, the weekend I was making deliveries to come up with the money to pay my credit card, and I was sharing in that video that I pay my credit cards off in full every month. And this is part of the reason, because several years ago I was in such a bad place financially and just with my credit and everything. So like, I just kind of vowed that if I'm going to continue to use these credit cards, I'm going to pay them off every month. I'm not, you know, and it's going to keep my credit, you know, at a good place and all of that. But so this month, my bill was due. I think it's due on the 19th. And just with all the craziness I got going on with this trip, and I usually pay my bill like a few days before, just to make sure it's paid in full before the closing date. And this month, like I said, with all the running around that I've been doing, and I had it on my to-do list to pay this credit card, but I totally I don't know, I forgot. Like I remembered, but I forgot. I was gonna pay it, like, because I needed to. I was just trying to organize myself, and I didn't want to, I had to move a little money from here and, whatever. So I wanted to go through all my bills and see how much I needed total before I moved anything. So, and it took me a minute to figure that all out. So by the time I figured it out, I remember it was on the 19th and it was late. It may have been 10 o'clock. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm ready to pay this bill. So I went to pay the bill. Do you know that they had like shut down for that day? Like that day's payments had shut down at 8 o'clock. So it basically said your payment will go into effect for the 20th. So that meant I thought that meant and I don't know, that my bill is now late by one day. Because if it goes into, the bill is due on the 19th, it goes in on the 20th. And that bill at that time, that particular bill, I'm trying to think, was that the $400 bill? No, that was the $600 one. So I would have had to pay the interest on that $600. And actually, I don't even know. So I paid it and went on. But I mean, in 6 years, I have not missed a payment. And again, prior to 6 years, whole different story. Every month I was missing, every month I was behind, and I wasn't even making the minimum. Forget paying the bill off. I wasn't making the minimum 6 years ago. Okay? So in 6 years, a clean slate. And I remember one time one time this same card, they kept, like, it felt like every other, every time I turned around, they were giving me a higher limit. And one day I just called them on that, and I was just like, what's happening? Why are you, I mean, that's fine, but I felt like something weird going on. Why are you keep extending my limit? And the lady, when she pulled up my account, she was like, oh my gosh. She was like, she was like, this is unusual. She was like, you have such good standing with us that they are extending your credit. They review your credit periodically, but they see that you're such a good, customer, that you're paying your bill off every single month. And she's like, honestly, that's rare. She said, they're increasing your limit. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I guess that's cool. I was just a little cautious, like, why are you doing that? But anyway, so I say all that to say that they were, like, really, according to this woman, impressed with my, and in 6 years, always made my payment on time. But this one day that I'm packing for this trip and running around crazy for this trip, I forgot. I didn't forget. Again, I just pushed it to the end of the day. And when I made the payment, they said, oh, your payment is going to go in for the 20th, which meant it's late. It's not on the 19th. So then when I went back the next day, I gotta double check, because the next day it did say it registered for the 19th. I gotta see if they charged me any interest or if it was considered late or whatever. I didn't notice that with just going in quickly like I just did to see if I had a credit. But anyway, pay your bills on time. It will save you some heartache, because I'm telling you, my life was crazy. And I in those days, and again, those are some of my early videos when I first got on YouTube. I couldn't use credit. I always had to do cash and carry. I was that person. If we went on a trip together, if I went on a group trip with some friends, I couldn't rent the car. I couldn't rent the car because I didn't have credit like that to rent a car. I didn't have a credit card. I remember my company, you know, like I've had to do a little travel. I don't do any major traveling, but you know, we'll have a conference once a year or something. And I remember going to the conference and they want you to put a credit card on file. And I mean, that's embarrassing. And they're not charging your card. I mean, the company's taking care of it, but you have to physically put a credit card on file. I had no credit card to put on file. You know what I'm saying? So pay your bills on time. Pay them off in full if at all possible. Do whatever you got to do to pay them off in full every month, so that you don't have to live in that place of debt. And anyway, that's my speech for today. I'm here at Marshall's now. I'm going to go in here. Got 2 pair of pants to return, and then I'll be back.